Space, the final frontier.
This is the podcast, State of the Federation.
Its continuing mission.
To preview strange new ships.
To seek out new builds and new combinations.
To boldly go where no show has gone before.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Federation. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we are here once again with State of the Federation. And unfortunately for today, I am invisible. Yes, we've had some minor hacking attempts on our communications array, so we need to make sure that our lovely visages are not being transmitted to enemy Klingon listening posts. Isn't that right, fellow citizen hosts of the Federation?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've been under a gag order from Section 31 for the last 6 months.
I've been attempting to fix the problem by compensating by bouncing a graviton particle beam off the main deflector dish, but there's too much interference.
Maybe if we bounced it off a nearby moon.
That's no moon. Oh shit, wrong franchise.
Hi guys, how's it going? I know it's weird not seeing my lovely face and now seeing just the emptiness of the holodeck array there. But I assure you, I'm still here. I'm still here and ready to. We are all here ready to bring you the latest and greatest in Star Trek Attack Wing cool stuff. And starting today with the ISS Avenger. Haha! My visual aids still work. That's the important part. So, you guys ready for some ISS Avenger action?
Yeah. Yes. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
Fellow friends of the Terran Empire. Alright, so starting today we have the ISS Avenger. Terran NX class, mirror universe ship. 16 points, 2 attack, 3 evade, 3 hull, 0 shields. Comes with a tech slot. This is kind of nice, as a change from the NX-01 Enterprise. Gets a tech slot, a weapon slot, and 2 crew slots. Standard battle stations and scanning and locking action bar. But during the roll attack dice step, if there is an auxiliary power token beside your ship, gain +2 attack dice when attacking with your primary weapon.
Why, hello there, Mr. Spock.
Let me take an extra action to get that power token and get another bonus. Yeah, I actually like this ability a lot, if only it was on a better ship.
Yeah.
Poor Avenger is still very fragile.
It's got the good action bar. It's got the Federation action bar. Tech weapon crew.
Hello?
No. Good. My Section 31 decryption took out Tucker.
Uh-oh. He's toast.
Give me a second. I'm
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to use some fancy new headphones, and they're fritzing on me. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I love the action bar. I love the slot layout. Tech weapon crew is probably my favorite for 4 points. But the ship has a durability of 3.
Combined with 3 agility, and you're still well within one-shot range of the bigger ships.
During one-shot range of anything with more than 4 attack dice.
Yeah, I mean a 5 attack dice ship with battle stations and/or target lock will probably take you out.
Yeah, because 3 defense dice averages 1 evade result, so effectively you're looking at 4 durability.
Unless you were like me, in which case it results in -1 evade result somehow.
Will, I've done the math. I found it possible. I may have multiplied by I a couple of times, and that may have caused the problem, but never mind. Yeah. I will say I like this ship, well, more so having the tech slot, for the Mirror Universe tractor beam. That came on the Regent's flagship, and for people that don't remember what that does, it's an action. Target a ship at range 1, roll 2 attack dice. For every hit or crit, place an Aux power token beside the target ship.
Oh god, are you thinking of a swarm of like 18-point auxiliary power outers?
Maybe.
Get away from me. Oh, no.
There are worse things that exist.
Like what?
Hey, I don't know. You could get a swarm
Science vessel swarm.
Yeah, if we have the tech slot, might as well throw cloaked mines on there, right?
It's a thing to do.
It's worth mentioning, by the way, the generic's going to be 14 points. Sorry, it's going to be 16 points is what I meant to say. With one less slot and no ability, so don't ever run it. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
For much.
The other thing to note is that if this follows, which it probably should, the NX-01 dial, I'm pretty sure the NX-01 dial does not have any red maneuvers on it. So you will need some kind of upgrade or captain that gives you auxiliary power tokens to make the most of this ability.
Yeah, and it also doesn't have a 4 forward, just FYI.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the Federation NX has red 3 turns and red 3 come about.
Oh, does it? I thought it had a white coming out.
It has a white 2 come about.
Ah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so there are some possibilities with just the maneuver dial.
Yeah, sadly, both of my Star Trek stores that should have had product did not have product.
No.
Well, one of them's transitioning, but and they hadn't got their accounts up. But yeah, otherwise I'd have it and I'd be able to tell you about it.
But yeah, other than that, assuming it has the forward 90, rear 90, unfortunately this specifies primary weapons, so taking the 1-point aft phaser cannon or whatever it is for the 1 point is not going to, well, help. It's not going to get help from this guy's ability, but hey, that's still more. 3 attack dice is still more than you're throwing normally.
Yeah.
But at that point, why wouldn't you just put on a dorsal weapons array?
And shoot everywhere.
Yeah.
With 4 dice.
4 dice?
Isn't it 4 dice?
3 dice. You're thinking of the cool one that's Dominion only again.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so ISS Avenger, cool little ship, but I don't see it surviving long as a combat ship, and I still don't see it surviving long as a support ship either.
Query. Any way to put an aux power on your own ship after you've taken actions?
Sure, engage.
Aha. So, how about Jonathan Archer with engage on the Avenger? You could get plus 2 attack dice with Archer and plus 2 for the Aux power token.
You still need 2 actions to do that, though.
Yeah. Would work with. You could do it with.
You could do it with. I mean, you could do things with Masset. He gives you a power token to add an attack die.
You do things with Cisco.
Okay, there we go. I like Masset. That's a lot simpler.
Oh, so but that's 5 attack dice.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take your action, though.
And it doesn't take your action. So you can battle stations.
Okay, I guess that's true.
So you can have 5 dice with battle stations. Here we go. Making the Avenger potentially playable for just a captain.
Actually, okay, I see your point. I mean, I don't know where I would want a 3 durability ship, but it's got a pretty good cannon strapped to the front of it.
Yeah, I mean...
Talk about glass cannons.
I mean, we're talking about... Masset's a 4-point captain when you cross faction. So we're talking 20 points. Yes, I'd rather have fighters.
Yeah, I can't think of a circumstance in which that in which that would not be worse than fighters.
Okay. Say I couldn't have fighters for some reason.
As if you had 20 points and your slot was open for 20 points, but you don't have a mothership
Say
available.
I've already gone mothership fighters, and I need a 20-point ship, and I want a glass cannon, and I want an offensive ship rather than a defensive ship.
Okay.
Maybe this is a thing?
How much is a Burrell?
22?
I think it might be 20.
Oh, named is 22, generics 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might just want a Burrell.
Look it up. So you get a 4. You'll get a 4-5-3-0 effectively.
Or a 4-1-3-3. I mean, either way, I think I'd rather have a Burrell. But, yeah. Or I could cut 2 points and have a Borg Burrell.
Those are cool. Yeah, very hard. It's going to be very hard to get an Avenger in your build unless you're going like straight up Mirror Pure or something like that. There's probably going to be a lot of other options. Combining him with a Dominion Captain, I don't think is a bad idea either, because going through for the Officer Exchange Program stuff, Dominion have a lot of pretty a wide variety of captains that are useful with OXP. Almost as much as Federation, but they do different things. So, I'm not opposed to doing OXP something Dominion to get Dominion captains on all my ships. And Dominion crew come with Bohica, so...
And Klingons is another good option, and they come with Drex and Garen.
It's cool stuff. It's cool stuff all around, but yeah, Avenger needs a couple buffs, and you'll find some way to do it if you really want to run it.
I mean, honestly, here's the other thing. If you want to pay 22 points, you can get a generic Mirror Defiant.
4-2-3-3.
4-2-3-2.
4-2-3-2.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just better.
Yeah.
But
just
still, I don't know. I'm trying to be positive and trying to find a way to make it work. So we've been accused of not finding any way whatsoever to make things work. So there's a way.
It's got 3 durability. Like, this is such a huge issue.
I know.
Well, let's look at some of the cards that come with it and see if we can't mitigate that a little bit.
There we go. I think you're buying this ship for the cards, not the ship.
Oh, definitely.
Or because you want to run Terran Federation.
That too.
All right. First up, we have Admiral Black. 3-point Mirror Universe Admiral gives +1 talent and +1 skill. Fleet action: perform a sensor echo with a 1 maneuver template, even if your ship is not cloaked or does not have the sensor echo icon on its action bar. Each time you defend this round during the modified defense die step, you may reroll one of your blank results, place an auxiliary power token beside your ship. Well, there's one way to get that auxiliary token.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
in other words,
another way to get that auxiliary power token.
And I'm kind of a fan of being able to sensor echo. I liked Sulu, badass Sulu from the refit, and he only lets you do it with a green maneuver. This guy lets you do it anytime.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I am quite a fan of anybody who gives your entire fleet the option to do a barrel roll.
Oh.
You know that's what's happening. Don't even deny it.
Barrel rolls were not canon until Nemesis, darn it. Quick, rotate on the Z-axis to ventral phasers. That was always fun. Why can't we do that in this game? But yes, Black, not bad, honestly.
Not bad.
Like, ever since Worf got stuck not being able to use fighters anymore, he's a pretty good competitor for the Mirror Universe Admiral slot.
Yeah. Well, plus being able to re-roll one of your blanks, I mean, it might work. it might save your butt.
Mm-hmm.
That's not why you're taking the fleet action, but it might pay off.
There's cool things you can do with this guy. I like him.
I like him too.
Black, not such a bad guy. Well, I don't know, I
Well-
didn't actually see the episode. I think he's a bad guy.
He was a jerk, but I love the actor.
All right. We have a second Admiral choice in this pack as well. Admiral Gardner. 2-point mirror universe. 0 skill, no talent. Poor guy. Fleet action when attacking with your primary weapon during the roll attack die step, gain +1 attack die. Each time you defend this round during the roll defense die step, roll -1 defense die. You cannot perform any free action this round. Why?
This is so miserably awful. I don't think WizKids has yet we say this all of the time, but I don't think WizKids has yet realized that action, roll +1 attack die this round, by itself, with no other rider text, is still not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you gave me the option, if you gave every ship the ability to just roll 1 extra die as an action, it still wouldn't be a worthwhile action.
Actually, you want to know the best way to say that? Hands up, everybody on this show and everybody in the chat. Hands up if you have ever seen anybody run Admiral Gold Ducat ever.
I can't raise my hand. You can't see me. I'm invisible. But Tucker's avatar's hand is raised.
Get on my Borg, I'll take you across the universe, and I'll be other places too.
So, Gardner, unless we can start taking like 3 admirals or something, you're never going to use them.
I can...
You're still never going to use them, even if you have 3 admirals.
Okay, yeah, like, let's put it this way, okay? You ready? He's better than Pressman.
There will be some point where Pressman's -1 skill will actually be more useful than this guy, I'm sure of it.
No, he's actually not better than Pressman, because Gardner doesn't affect captain skill at all.
Oh. Well...
Next.
Yeah.
Gardner actually serves no point in this game whatsoever.
You just wanted his face on the card. Look, he does have a pretty nice beard going.
He does. Like, I liked Gardner. He was a good character, but
And he looks super like evil Admiral guy here. I mean, it's a good picture, but yeah. This is not...
Ability
don't
does him no
run
justice.
Gardner ever. Like, if I see somebody running Gardner, I'm taking you aside and I'm giving you a talking to. Namely, what's the point? Explain it to me, because I don't understand.
Je ne comprends pas.
Next up on our list, we have Vulcan Captain. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. He's a mirror captain. He's a mirror Vulcan. You can tell by the goatee.
I thought that was a nice touch in the show that they gave the mirror Vulcan the goatee. I thought that was a nice callback.
Don't all mirror Vulcans get the goatee?
I don't know if all mirror Vulcans do, but the prominent ones do.
3-point mirror universe captain. He comes with a talent and 4 skill. So his cost is actually a little more than most other 4 skill captains. You do not pay a faction penalty when deploying any upgrades to your ship. That's pretty cool.
Suck it, Faction Pure.
Well, if we thought that WizKids was on the road towards faction purity, I don't think so.
No.
This is from a gameplay perspective. He's mini con. He doesn't get the battle station crit conversion, but
or the captain skill.
He does get a talent, and he does make you able to mix and match all of your mercenaries from across the galaxy.
You know what, though? There are times I don't want to pay a whole bunch of points for con, because it's 5 or 6 points cross-factioning. And sometimes I want to put him on a ship that doesn't have battle stations, so now Soval's a great choice.
Yeah, I mean, I like Soval, in all honesty. One number is if you're stuck in a penalty pure venue, is you do have to pay a faction point for him.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still going to be stuck on a mirror ship, and there are a couple of serviceable ones. But
Regis
in
fleet.
general, well, Regis, I mean, yeah, but then the flip side is, with Regent's flagship and Soval, you're already paying base 35 points. How much is his ability really going to come into play?
Because you need at least like 2 or 3 upgrades to make him worth it.
Exactly. Where I think he shines is Officer Exchange Program.
Making him a 2-point captain?
2-point captain that can go on anything in Penalty Pure. Though apparently a lot of Penalty Pure venues ban Officer Exchange Program, and I look at them and go, have you literally missed the entire point? But whatever.
But yeah, that's actually not too bad of an idea, especially for like maybe a mine layer ship that all it's supposed to do is actually lay mines. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a Romulan ship anymore to keep value. Now you can get it for value on anything else.
Soval goes on the Pegasus.
Well, the thing about that is I thought of that, but the thing is you actually pay more putting him on the Pegasus than you would gain from losing the faction penalty for mines.
Unless you also put the fleet captain that adds tech upgrades to him.
Not on him, but on somebody else in your fleet.
Well, if you put it on him, you can fit 4 mines on his ship now. Then.
And I mean, yeah, but at that point you're still. So at that point, you're saving 8 points and paying 9, assuming that it's not a mirror universe ship.
Yeah.
If you're not using the fleet captain, you're saving 2 points and paying 4, or at least 3. Like it's just not. It's an interesting thought, but it doesn't work out.
I'm thinking of an officer exchange program mirror fed, because there's enough to go around there.
Right, and see, the thing is that on Pegasus, that means you're not getting extra tech slots for Pegasus. Pegasus has 2 mine slots, you're saving 2 points, and you're spending 2 points in your resource. And Feds do not gain much by getting Mirror Universe captains. They get Mirror Riker, and that's about it.
I'm more thinking of mirror ships getting access to Fed captains.
I mean, I'd rather run Fed captains on Fed ships. Their ships are just a ton better. Look, I'm not saying, by the way, this guy's useless in general. He's great. He has a lot of use for your shuttles that are just carrying stuff to put on your dreadnoughts. He's great there.
That's what I was trying to get at too eventually, but
yeah, it's just that as a mine layer captain, I don't think he does much. But yeah, no, the shuttle knot builds are gonna love this guy.
All right. So let's see. There's Soval we have there. Next up we have Sabotage, the mirror unique talent. Not to be confused with Sabotage, the regular unique talent. This one is a...
Sure, go ahead.
I was just going to keep going out. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
This is a 4-point mirror universe talent upgrade. Action, discard this card to target a ship at range 1 to 3. Target ship must disable 2 active shields if possible. If the target ship has no active shields, or if this action causes the target ship to have no active shields, place an auxiliary power token beside the target ship.
This is hilariously good meta against advanced cloaking.
Specifically against advanced cloaking, yes. Against the scimitar, it's alright.
No, specifically against advanced cloaking. Look, the answer is this is
one of the action power token cards, which you can use to screw up your opponent if they're doing a red maneuver.
It's somewhere like a cross between I don't know. This is somewhere like a cross between tractor beam and projected stasis field. Like, it takes down shields and gives you aux tokens, which is kind of neat. It's going to work best on Alpha Strike builds where you want to control movement and also just if you're trying to kill them in one turn, then the distinction between disabling or destroying shields is just not that strong.
Mhm.
Um,
The one thing I see as a problem with it, though, is it is a talent, so you actually need someone with captain skill to have this. Generally, you'd want something like this on a one captain skill little boat or ship of some sort.
Not even strictly necessary with stuff like Admiral Worf. I mean, Admiral Worf is yeah, okay, it sucks he can't be used on fighters, but he's also a 2-point talent slot for
Yeah, that's
no
true.
slot, which is nice. And that's in faction for this. On the right fleet, I could see myself paying for this ability. This isn't one of those ones. Yeah, it's a 4-point discard, and it's and obviously everybody out there who listens to the show knows. Yes, I hate cards that are too expensive, that you have to discard them when you use them. I don't think this is one of those cards. I'm just not sure what fleet wants it.
Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot you could spend those 4 points on.
Mm-hmm.
Mines, for instance.
Right, and then the flip side is it's an interesting effect, but it's not the most necessary effect, I guess I want to say.
I'm going to say, this is one of those cards you would bring to screw up someone who really overthinks their game. Because they will try to play around just the threat of this, so the longer you keep it on your ship and don't actually use it, the more you will affect your opponent.
I could also see, I guess, using it on some kind of disruption-focused build with tractor beams, Gen Cisco, but that's not really going to be that effective. Yeah, though that does remind me, I want to.
If you really want to do something weird and sneaky with this, you can put it on the lowest point capping you can get. Throw it into something that has the jump anywhere on the board mechanic, like the quantum singularity or the time shift distortion field, and get right up next to a player who is trying to shuttle Dreadnought a ship, and give them the power token on the second turn before they transfer all of their stuff.
That's actually going to be really hard to do. Simply because, so what I figured out was, I think if your shuttle moves before the ship you're trying to land on, I think you can do it all in one turn. If you do a green maneuver with the ship you're trying to land on, because you crash. Say they're both 0-point captains.
It loads onto the ship gets the power token. The ship then moves, gets rid of this power token, and has its own action to use.
Right, and and you're probably doing that with, I mean, the shuttle is going to be a 0-point Federation ship, so it's going to move before everything unless you've lost initiative. And then people are building, I mean, Voyager, look, you're doing this on Voyager, probably. So that's also going to be a 0-point Federation captain in all likelihood. Depending on what you're doing with it. I mean, it is possible if, like, your shuttle captain is the captain you're actually trying to use, and they're, like, skill 10 or something from Picard with the flagship, or, sorry, a fleet captain. So it does have some use. It's just, you gotta be, that's a very specific usage. And honestly, that reminds me, I am pretty sure I would rather just have Brunt for that usage.
Hi, Brunt.
Brunt would not be able to do it.
Why would Brunt not be able to do it?
You quantum singularity, you have to be outside of range 3. And Brunt, you would not get a chance to move before Brunt would go off.
That's correct, yeah. That's true.
Sabotage, you get to get just close enough. But that is one way you could use it. Not sure if it will be helpful to anybody, but throwing that out there as a possibility. I'm sure people can use their imaginations to come up with something similar.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it's just part of my concern is that, as we all know, Locutus is terrible, and this is a lot of times just going to be a one-shot Locutus ability.
Locutus give power tokens?
No, get rid of shields. Remember, you only get the power tokens if they're out of active shields.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty bad, isn't it?
Right, and what I mean is there are going to be a lot of times where this card says, action, discard this card to target a ship in range 1 to 3. Target ship must disable 2 active shields.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And I mean, there are going to be times where that's good. There will be times where that is a decent card, but it's 4 points, it's an elite talent, and it's like, as I said, I don't think this is a bad card. It's just a card where I need to find the right fleet to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And off the top
at
of
what
my
point
head,
would you use this instead of Gorn Raiding Party?
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
Gorn Raiding Party, I think, is shorter range, but
Shorter range costs an extra point, but does the same shield effect and disables all their upgrades instead of giving them power token.
I would rather have this if they're running blank force.
Yeah.
If you're flying against 3 diamonds or something, I'd rather have this. But that's a pretty narrow case.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, that's not even true. I'd still rather have Gorn Raiding Party because I could use their ability over and over and over. Oh, yeah, okay, here's another thing. Gorn Raiding Party requires you to disable all of your shields. This doesn't.
Ah, gotcha.
just sort of a small, little downside there.
Who needs
You gotta
shields?
You gotta cut your durability in half on most ships.
Yeah, it's fun. All right, then. Let's go on to the wonderful generic crewmen that come with this ship pack.
Yes. Oh my God, generic crew that aren't Romulans. I am so happy.
Orion Tactical Officer, 2-point Mirror Universe crewman, or woman. If you damage an opponent's hull with a critical, you may immediately discard this card to search the damage deck for a weapons malfunction or a munitions failure card, instead of drawing a random damage card. Reshuffle the damage deck when you're done. No ship may be equipped with more than 1 Orion Tactical Officer upgrade.
Because I definitely want to stuff my ship full. I'm seeing so many opponents running weapons that I need to run like 10 of these on every ship, obviously.
Well,
to go with those 10 weapon
slots. Get rid of dorsal phaser array?
No, I mean I do. Like we're, as I've said before, we're getting to the point where the let's turn a crit into get rid of your weapon cards, and there are a few of them at this point, are getting increasingly better. And this is easily the cheapest one we've seen yet and the easiest one to use. It's just that I'm not quite at the point where I need where I feel like they're must include, simply because Borgers still have a pretty effective 360, and then past them, the ship I want to run most, that I'm dealing with 360 is actually Voyager.
Yep. And there's no way to gimp that.
And and the other thing is so there's a concept called win more. You know what I mean when I say win more?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you know what, I'll just tell, so for those in the audience who don't know, a win more card is a card that is at its best when you are already winning.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice, but it means if you're already winning, then you probably don't need the extra boost.
If you're not winning...
Yeah, if you're not winning, it doesn't help. This is a really good example of a win more card. When are you going to hit the opponent's hull with a crit? When they have no shields and you're hitting them anyway.
Mm-hmm. This thing combines best with either number 1, things that ignore shields like Chronoton torpedoes, or number 2 with no, I wasn't even thinking about that one. I was thinking about Kazon Raiding Party.
Yeah, Kazon Raiding Party. There's like this hilarious set of things at this point you can do where you just start piling on. If you damage your opponent with the crit effects with Kazon Raiding Party, it's a really weird build, and I really like it just because it does silly things. But then again, how much effort are you going through to discard a weapon at that point?
It's still also a get rid of. It either takes away somebody's rear arc attacks, for the most part, or you're just reducing their attack, at least by a bit, which is not the worst thing in the world. Because every time you hit a fighter, it reduces its attack. If we could do that for every ship every time, I would not be opposed to it. But having to discard the tactical officer makes me sad. But I would, -1 attack is better than some of the crits out there.
I guess it's just that what I always have to compare an effect like this to, and this is ultimately why I don't like the weapon damage cards, is ultimately I always have to compare them to attack pattern Omega.
Would you rather give someone -1 attack, or would you rather give someone a 1 in 8 chance to blow up every turn?
Or lose all maneuverability. I mean, yeah, it's... For those who don't remember attack pattern Omega, by the way, who maybe joined the game and didn't bother picking up the Defiant, it's a 3-point unique elite talent for this effect, except instead of getting munitions failure or whatever, you get Warp Core Breach. So, yeah.
If you really like to play the lucky odds dice game.
Yeah. By the way, for those at home who don't remember, I happen to think, or maybe, you know what? No, this was before I joined the show after Wave 4. One of my favorite combos, one of my absolute favorite combos is Attack Pattern Omega plus Kazon Raiding Party. Which is just amazing. It's hilarious. I love it.
Boom, take a Warp Core Breach. Roll the crit in the next turn. So
Yeah.
it only works 1 out of 8 tournament rounds, but that's okay.
Shh. Just let it happen. Just let it happen. Shh.
My problem with the tactical officer is that alone it has no way of getting crits. You have to combo it to make it work.
Yeah, it's not that hard to do. I mean, you have stuff like Toreth, you have stuff like Tan, you have stuff like the Kazon Raiding Party. It's
But
just
yeah, if you're just waiting for a crit to happen, it's not going to be nearly as useful.
Yeah, I guess I'd rather see it cost 3 or maybe 3 and let it up convert a hit to a crit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is a win more card, and this is where we get into quadrant, and it doesn't help you come back. It doesn't help you in initial exchange, the development.
Unless you're going up against cloakers.
Cloakers aren't going to use weapons, though. I mean, ever since they wrote that advanced cloaking is a nombo with disruptor pulse, like, you're not going to see cloakers with weapons.
Yeah,
That's true. We are still under the 50-point limit. Otherwise, I would expect that I would still expect that the Thaleron weapon would be a thing if it weren't for that 50-point limit.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. Even if it was, like, the dream here is obviously to take out Transphasics or Thalerons before they fire. But you're not going to do that. Like, that would require you to stay out of arc. On Voyager, that would require you to stay out of arc long enough to get their shields down and then crit them. I could see it happening against the Scimitar or something, but that would be just an absurd stroke of luck. And you would still have to get through all those evade dice.
And expect that they did not let you get the crit through because of interface generator of some sort.
Right, or something like that.
Oh, well.
And
sorry, Orion Tactical Officer, I tried.
Yeah, and well, no, here's the thing, though. You know what I like about this card more than anything else?
It has an Orion girl on it?
No.
Oh.
No. It's a ship unique generic crew. I'm so happy. We have 2 of these in the pack. And
it's not Romulan.
So happy. It's not Romulan. Yes. I'm so happy that some Wave 15 spoilers came up, and there's more, limited generic crew in them, and it's like I really, really, really like the idea that we don't have to have either something that can be on every single ship and therefore probably isn't that great, or something that can be in multiples on every single ship, let me put it that way, and probably isn't that great, or unique. It's like it's the reason I've always liked Drex and Angaran. Like, imagine way back in Wave 0 or whatever, if Drex and Angaran had just been, Klingon tactical officer. That would have been great.
Yeah.
It's not like you ever usually need more than 2 of them anyway.
That is so not even close to true. Are you kidding?
All right, three Klingon vessels. That was in the days before fighters existed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'd been a thing. And would have sold more ships. Potentially. Yeah. Speaking of our random generic crewman, we got one more to go on with this ship. We've got our Andorian helmsman, another 2-point mirror universe crewman. During the combat phase, after you complete your attack, you may discard this card to immediately perform a 1 or 2 maneuver, straight or bank. If you do so, place an auxiliary token beside your ship. No ship may be equipped with more than one Andorian helmsman.
It's like Indy Tuvok, but worse.
He has to get discarded, unfortunately. But, I mean, it's not a bad ability. That's that could easily be a one-shot what do you call it? A one-shot attack negation. Because all of a sudden you're not an arc anymore. You can't hit me.
So Indy Tuvok is the card that you compare this to. Indy Tuvok, it's only a 1 distance, but it'll let you turn.
And he just disables instead of discarding, right?
Yeah. And he's only 1 point more. I mean, now, you can put these on every ship you have, I guess, but you can only... It's a one-shot effect, because you can only have 1 per ship. I mean, unless you're on, like, a Wayun or Sotf ship or something, but...
You have better things to save.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one thing I've been considering, and I've been considering this for quite some time, with Sopec, is to have sort of a toolbox ship where you just have a bunch of different crew that all have one-shot discard effects, and because you can get them back at any point, just, you know...
Bring back whichever one you need at the turn.
Yeah, it's just... It's still not great, because, frankly, there's almost... There's pretty much nothing you would rather have than attack negations, so...
Yeah. The toolbox sounds like a cool idea. I wish it would be a viable strategy in this game, but right now the rulings in the meta doesn't support it.
Yeah, that's correct.
But all things considered, not bad for a generic crewman for 2 points.
No.
Yeah.
I'd probably still take this over Dax. I'd take anyone over Dax, actually.
Okay.
Fed Dax, not Mirror Dax.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's correct.
Mirror Dax is actually useful. She negates a damage for 2 points.
I would maybe take this over Mirror Dax, because as Will said, this could possibly negate an entire round's worth of attacks.
And you're not going to use it unless it's going to do so.
Yeah, whereas Dax only works if you're taking hull damage, and it could very well be that if you're taking hull damage, her reduction is not going to matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a lose less card.
Yeah, she is a lose less card, which is just as bad as win more.
Let's see. What else do we have?
She was not bad in Matter of Honor, though.
All right. Let's see. Next on the list, photonic torpedoes. Basic.
Oh my god,
torpedo.
they're so amazing. This card is totally going to change the meta. I can't believe they printed this. It's so overpowered. We've definitely never, ever, ever seen anything like it before.
Actually, it's not a bad price point for 2 points.
I'm pretty sure we already have a 2-point photon of some kind.
Nope. Closest thing we have is the aft phaser things for the non-mirror universes, which is 2 points for a rear arc 1 to 3.
Photonic torpedoes, range 1 to 3, 4 points. Target lock. Spend your target lock to disable the card to perform this attack. You may fire this weapon from your forward or rear firing arcs.
For 4 points? This is 2.
No, for attack, 2 points. In fact, it's strictly better because it's range 1 to 3.
No.
Oh, is it not? Is that a...
The Fed one that came on the NX is exactly the same as the Mirror one.
Okay, never mind. I'm going to stop using Draco's Builder. Like, this thing is just so many typos at this point.
Yeah, it's exactly the same card. 4 dice, range 2 to 3, 2 points, no conversions, forward or rear arc.
Does not work with the resource because they're photonic torpedoes, not photon torpedoes.
Yeah, that's a shame.
You thought you were being so damn clever, Enterprise writers. So damn clever. Well, I guess you didn't think about what would happen in a tabletop miniatures game that came out almost 10 years after your show was canceled. Huh. It's your fault.
Plasma cannons. 2-point mirror universe weapon. 3 attack. 1 range 1 to 3. You may fire from your forward or rear arcs. Eh.
Why am I using this instead of dorsal weapons array?
Which one?
Mirror.
Because
range
you
3?
did win a Prakash, or you didn't pull a Prakash.
And range 3?
There we
I don't
go.
know.
Yeah.
I like range 3. Range 3 is useful now that Borg are nerfed. Run away from the Borg!
It has one ship that it's maybe useful on, and it's the Avenger.
All right, so here's the deal.
It's also great in Nebula Cloud scenario. Not Nebula Cloud.
Oh my god.
Not Mutara Nebula, no. The Nebula Cloud from the regionals and the nationals.
Oh. Yeah, okay, I was about to say, why would you ever use this instead of aft phaser emitter? But okay, that's one possible reason I could say.
Mm-hmm.
Is this maybe playable on the ISS Enterprise? I'm spitballing. I'm not actually serious.
ISS.
Why?
What, the NX Enterprise that hasn't come out yet? Or the...
No. The Mirror Constitution Enterprise.
Doesn't have a rear arc, though, does it?
No, he's saying because you can do the target lock thing to get 4... No, wait, David, what are you talking about?
Oh, it doesn't have a rear arc.
It doesn't have a rear arc, and it's already 3 attack dice. There's literally no point in putting this on the...
Okay. I thought it had a rear arc, in which case then it might be playable. But if it doesn't have a rear arc, so it doesn't matter.
If Constitutions had rear arcs, oh my god.
Do we
have
have this...
about what?
Do we have this in Federation too with the Enterprise NX or no?
No, I don't think so.
Because it didn't sound familiar when I first looked at it, but
they got, I think, aft phase cannons instead.
Gotcha. This could, if it was in a Federation version, I mean, this could potentially be good on Reliance.
Yeah, they got aft phase cannons, which is the same thing except it's only from your rear arc.
Why would this be good on Reliance?
Because it's already higher than their basic attack dice, and it doesn't grant an extra defense die at range 3. And it's 270 degrees of coverage.
It does not increase their attack dice at range 1, because they're already rolling 4 dice at range 1.
The Reliant is rolling 4 dice at range 1.
Oh, you're talking about Miranda classes.
Yes. I'm sorry, did I say the wrong word?
You said Reliant.
Oh,
like,
no, not Reliant. No, yeah, Reliant. Reliant is a Miranda class.
Are you talking about the named or the generic?
Both.
I don't think this is worth it on the named. I would rather just run an aft phase cannon or something. The ability to, I guess it does increase your attack die by 1. For 2 points, that's worth it. But
yeah, I'd rather put the Type 8 phaser array on the Reliant, and then I'd put the plasma cannon on a generic Miranda.
Oh yeah, see there you go. Yeah, the Type 8 phaser array.
Because that just straight up increases all of your attack by like 1 for the most part.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's your better combo.
That's true.
Cool.
And then you can get by on 1 of each.
Yeah. Not that Reliant only has 1 attack slot though, but
unless you're trying to build a Miranda swarm.
Oh man, that takes me back to my OP1 days.
Oh my God, Will. And you know what's sad?
I won.
Did you run a Miranda swarm in Arena?
No, I tried.
You totally should have. Miranda swarms were great in Arena.
Really?
Yeah, what you do is you just load them up with like the highest captain skill you can possibly find, and then you win the captain's battle and get so many fleet points for having like 4 surviving captains, and then you just dogpile all of your Mirandas onto one side of the ship and then put their other ships on the other side of a planet on the other side of the board. It's great.
The only other time I went to an OP, I think I brought 2 Mirandas and 2 Jem'Hadar attack ships, and I don't remember which OP that was. It's kind of an early one, though. I think it might have been the one where you transport troops to the surface.
Why would you ever run that fleet?
I don't remember what I was trying to do, but it was right when Admiral's orders came out. So I got smashed by a 2-ship Federation, combined, united, and strike force. Actually, no. I actually beat that one because I took out one of their ships and then I ran for the rest of the game, and I only lost 2 of them.
David,
Yes,
that is so depressing.
I know.
Uh-oh.
That is
Secret.
incredibly. Yeah, we're not going to talk about it because it's just a really embarrassing story. But
Losing the things you shouldn't lose to.
yeah, actually, in fact, I might as well put it this way. You know how last week we were ragging on Will for almost losing to Vidians? David just posted a story about how he almost just lost to Tholians.
Tholians for life.
It was in peak performance. That was the one time Tholians were going to be somewhat decent.
Yeah, it's actually funny to me how they are overall, WizKids are pretty okay at making scenarios that one faction happens to be a bit better at. The problem is the majority of the time it's the board. But past that, Miranda Swarm, great for Arena. Tholians, pretty cool for peak performance. I don't know.
Mirror Universe Enterprise D with Riker, Sulu, and Chronotons. Which Sulu?
I assume
Mirror Sulu?
Mirror Sulu.
Mirror Sulu gives you the disable for the target lock in another action, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, but it's a free action, so it doesn't trigger Riker. They ruled on that.
That's
Which
unfortunate.
this guy may not have known.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyways, it still would make mirror chronotons actually work.
Oh, that's right. Chronotons are also mirror weapons, aren't they?
yeah, I keep forgetting that. But they still cost absurd amounts of points if they're not on a Krenim.
Yeah.
I guess you could put it on a Krenim. It's a mirror ship. It's just a terrible mirror ship. By the way, we did find out. So the Krenim only has a 3 forward. Don't ever run it. Ever.
I mean, what's the problem with the 3 forward though? I mean, it's still got white turns. It doesn't have the come about, of course, but it does have the 2 different backups.
Wait,
So-
it's got a 3 bank, so just 3 bank, 3 bank. It's like doing 4 straights.
Yeah.
I guess. It's just... to me, it is a ship that is really easy to run away from, and that is kind of a problem sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's like running away from fighters. You can do it.
Stick to range
Yeah.
3. I'd be happy for you. I don't want you anywhere close to me getting behind me when I can't turn around.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the flip side is because the Krenim only has a 90 forward, like, being forced to bank is no bueno sometimes.
Yeah. That's why you got to set up on like the 22.5 degree angle.
The
Oh,
weave.
God, not that shit again.
You don't like my weave? I invented that.
I know you invented that. I don't mean the weave. I mean, one of the nice things about... I was really bad at measuring that angle, okay?
Oh.
That was one of the things I really liked about the board.
I have an acrylic template for that angle.
That is not WizKids legal.
Eh.
That is
No,
a third-party game aid, David, and it's not allowed.
Not allowed at regionals or nationals.
I'm just giving you shit.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you can set up with whatever things you really want of the official stuff, and for that I just put a bank template straight up against my range ruler, so that it's right at that angle, and I stick a ship on the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
That way, if you do a bank, you know your ship is going straight forward. It's a little different, a little off. I don't know if I've actually shared that before. I thought I did.
That's a 45-degree angle.
No. If you put a bank template straight up against a flat edge like the range ruler, then it puts you at the 22.5. Because half of the angle is going to be on the rear side and half the angle is going to be on the front side.
Oh, I see. If you put it, when you said flat up against a, I thought you meant like take the end of it and put that square against a range. I don't really know what it was. I don't know. I'm
You're
with you
talking
now.
about essentially the range ruler at the midway point on a base.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right.
That works.
Back to Avenger.
All right.
Yeah.
We've only had a minor digression with Tholians and weaving and chronotons and it was all fun though. Emergency bulkheads, 4-point mirror universe tech. As an action, disable this card to flip all critical damage cards assigned to your ship face down. If your ship is not cloaked and you have no active shields, each time you defend this round, roll +1 defense die.
It's a lose less card, but of lose less cards, I kind of like it. Getting rid of nasty crits is pretty nice sometimes, and this gives you a defense die if that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not sure how much I like it on the NX, but like on something like Regents.
Yeah.
With 7
That's
hull.
what I was getting at.
Ah. Sorry, I stole your thunder, David.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, with 7 hull and 3 shields or 2 shields on the Regents, I will take this. Because that thing needs the protection.
And it's one of the few things with super high hull that doesn't have a regenerate action.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the other option is the Scimitar, but that's probably going to be cloaked.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you'll be taking a lot of normal damage anyways.
I mean, you would still flip all the critical damage down if you put this on the Scimitar.
Yeah, but that's what interface generators are for.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And they're cheaper.
They're cheaper. I mean, 3 points versus 5.
Mm-hmm.
2 points. They're. Oh yeah, sorry. I never play interfaces without the tech flagship, so I keep thinking they're 2 points.
Yeah.
Emergency bulkheads. Yeah, not bad, but make sure you put it on a big ship. On the little ship, you're probably going to die before you ever get a chance to use it.
Yeah. The defense dice. I feel like, by the way, I might almost want to use this as
just
like
for the defense die.
Yeah, I mean, I would need to run a ship without active shields, and I don't know why I do. You know what this makes me miss is the Bajoran Dreadnought, the Interceptor Dreadnought. That is a card that would love to say, yes, I'll take an action to get a defense die most rounds.
Yeah.
I lied. That's actually terrible, but still.
Yeah, for the same reason we don't use an action to add an attack die. We usually don't use an action to add a defense die.
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking that one through, was I?
2 defense dice, maybe. 2 defense dice and a conversion, definitely.
Yeah.
We love Sulu.
Why hide it?
Point would probably be add action to add 3 defense dice.
Tetrion emissions?
4. It's 4. Because cloak.
Tetrion emissions. People even like Tetrion emissions, and that's a disable.
That's 3. Yeah. But typically people run that with ways to re-enable it. So
yeah, so emergency bulkheads. Last but not, well, I guess last and kind of least, we have our poor enhanced hull plating. 4-point mirror universe tech, blah, 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 blah. If you have no shields, you can add 2 evades to a defense roll for the cost of 2 power tokens. Only purchasable for a mirror universe ship with a hull value of 4 left. Was the original enhanced hull plating that badly restricted?
No, I think you can use it for more than 4 hull. I mean,
I don't remember
we
that
put them
part
on
the other
Voyager, right? Like, I'm not crazy about this.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was limited to maybe Federation, but
yeah, it's Fed only, but it's not. There's no
hull value.
There was no other restriction on that.
Just Fed ships. So yeah, this is a slightly worse
enhanced hull plating. Enhanced hull plating ever since it got nerfed down. Unfortunately, has not been played in it ever since. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, now to be fair, obviously the Avenger loves this card. Like, oh, my major weakness is that I'm fragile, and I like having auxiliary power tokens. Let me think of a card that seems really good with that.
And it's good for the first attack in a turn. If you take the second attack in a turn, you're pretty much toast.
Yeah, but I mean, the flip side of it is, let's say I'm doing my like enhanced hull plating 4-die Avenger 20-point anger cannon. I'm okay with them not attacking my other ships for a round.
Yeah.
The little angry wasp.
I
Gotta
prefer anger
smash it.
cannon, which is a term I've just made up, but like it.
Let me say, that sounds like all the wasps I know around my house. Stupid frickin' wasps. Stupid Florida and its wasps. Oh, sorry. I'm sure we've gotten rid of that in the year 2450 something.
Well, you saw what the Zindi did. They took care of Florida. It's all good.
The who?
Tucker.
Huh?
You know I didn't watch Enterprise. Come on
The
now.
Zindi built a weapon. They brought it to Earth. They basically carved a trench through Florida and Cuba.
Yeah, and there was drama. And why are we bringing this up? I'm sorry, I was looking at Facebook.
Because
talking about
Will
angry
was
wasps.
talking about the stupid wasps in Florida and how we're sure we've taken care of them by the time we get to Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, no, they got taken care of real good. Yeah, like Death Star style, basically. You don't like the wasps? Well, that's okay, because in the Star Trek universe, they got killed by orbital death laser. It was awesome.
All right. That's going to do it for our exclusive, super in-depth review of the ISS Avenger. Took our time, no rush. Ended up going for an hour, but I think we had a very productive discussion, except for maybe the wasp part. But
Yeah, and the Tholian part, but whatever.
But yeah,
We have to take our lumps.
indeed.
I'll own my mistakes.
So, Tholians for World Championship. Super Broken Fleet. I expect to see you all bringing Tholians.
No, that's only if you're playing me, because I can't roll attack dice against Tholians.
We're going to kidnap David and bring him out to Origins, which he couldn't make to on his own.
Going to strap me in a straitjacket and throw me on a plane. Okay.
Really, would we really need to use the straitjacket on you, David?
Maybe. I don't know.
Be like, oh no, I'm being kidnapped. Help. Help. And you just keep walking with us.
Oh no, they're taking me to a gaming convention. Wait, my Star Trek stuff.
Oh, the terror. The horror. It's awful. I can't bear to watch. Let's see. News angle of things. We're still waiting on some more rulings for the fighters. I mean, it's been 2 shows now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, even simple things. Hey.
Sorry, what?
I was going to say, even just simple things that are just a little bit on the fence that we have no idea because logic and sentence construction. Yeah. You were saying,
I'm going
Tucker?
to say this. From playing a build with 2 fighters that I didn't even care how they interacted with the rest of my fleet, they're still really good.
I think the rulings might have actually even just made them better. The fact that they can now ignore defensive upgrades, certain defensive upgrades, is just kind of silly.
And things like Corvamite and Gelmon and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the fact that you have to throw 4 or 5 attacks at them. I mean, here is the reality, and I'm gonna tie this into my peak performance. In the whole day of peak performance, my grand fleet total was like 350 of kills.
Mm-hmm.
And I won. I went 3-0. And I'm going, we kind of saw kill, like, we met, we killed, you know, stuff came in behind, it killed, and that
It was
was
like
about
wave
it.
after wave of things killing stuff.
It wasn't wave after wave after wave after wave, you know? It's like an hour goes pretty quick. It's like by the time you really meet, you're 20 minutes in.
Oh, that's true.
15 minutes in.
Yeah, even jousting, if you add the time that it takes to replace your ships and the fact that all ships are still moving every turn, it's not like you can get to turn 8 and there's only one-on-one and turns go quicker.
Yeah.
Then
But
I guess the expected length of a game is like 8 rounds.
Yeah. But I don't know that I'd even count on that. I mean, I think a lot of the peak my peak performance games were 6 rounds, 7 rounds. And maybe we're slow, but
That's barely enough time to kill a fighter.
Yeah, and I mean, fighters are always part of that. Fighters are always going to slow it down. But, and I mean, I didn't have anything that bypassed shields or anything that was doing the one-hit kill.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I had a couple of Keldons. Those are capable of one-shotting just about anything. It was just, you know, it was immensely enjoyable. I think I had more fun playing that tournament than any of the past 5. And it was just a matter of, hey, you know, we're playing Star Trek for an hour, and then another hour, and then another hour. And I got my whole fleet the whole time. There's something cool about that.
Cool. 40k Oryx got almost 300 points in his first peak performance game alone. Chronotons against Borg.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That seems kind of fun.
Oh yeah, I also got Gol Madred to work twice in 2 different games on the first time against higher skill captains.
Ooh.
Yeah, my opponent stated me.
You don't need that, Captain.
Yeah, I took out a car with I Stab at Thee and stalking mode.
Oh.
Yeah, he was not happy. I took out Ducat on a bio ship. She was not happy.
That I
was
was going to say,
goal.
does that reduce... did they run that reduces the points if you ever get that ship killed again, or did it just never come up?
It never came up.
Gotcha.
I didn't...
From reading through the rules, like, if you kill the ship a second time, even with its already reduced complement of upgrades and or captains, you should technically get less points from it, if I was reading correctly.
Yeah.
Which seems weird, like, getting rid of upgrades suddenly becomes a hindrance, but if you're only going to kill them once anyway, I mean, might as well go for it.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just kind of fun to use Gol Madred. Because everybody was like, wait, what?
He does what now?
He does what now? You want me to do what?
Have you not been listening to State of the Federation on the preview on the Reklar?
Yeah, no.
Wait, what happened?
Well, my
people don't know
had no idea what Gol Madred did.
Oh, well, clearly it's their fault for not listening to our glorious show.
And you know all these people, David. Aren't you preaching the word?
That was for those listening at home, by the way, that was sarcasm.
Yeah. Because one of them's my girlfriend, and she just kind of thought I was running the same old type of stuff that I normally do. She looked at the card and went, oh, okay, and then didn't actually internalize it. The other one was the store owner who was playing because we only had an odd number of people, and he was like, you guys have been having an odd number of people for a while, so I'll play so that you guys don't have to keep sitting out.
Oh, that's cool.
And somebody had built an extra build. So it was like, oh, I'll just play that.
Nice.
And then the third guy ran such low captain skills. I was like, you know what? I like having the captain boost.
Yeah, it's always a strategic decision you can make.
Yeah, well, skill 10 Martok's just kind of nice.
Oh, you're using him in Admiral form.
I was using him in Admiral form. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, I had Captain Martok and Captain Khan. I needed the Admiral. Did a free action.
Which con? Reliant con?
Reliant Khan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, because I was like, once I lose the Admiral, I'm okay without giving the free action because I can still battle station on my Keldon.
Mm-hmm.
It worked well. I'm not going to argue with my results, but
but it wasn't Chronotons against Borg results good.
No, and I fully admit that things could have beaten me, and things nearly did. But yeah,
that's cool.
It was still fun. It was a fun day. I built towards my venue, and in different venues I would have built differently.
Mm-hmm. I'm very sad that my venue is a little bit behind because our peak performance and our Matter of Honor are being held in June.
Yeah, nothing against that.
Which is okay. I don't have a problem with it because I wasn't planning on running a Sakharov Dreadnought anyway, but it's nice to have things in times for Worlds.
Yeah, but you've already run Q1, right?
Yeah. So I've got the hood at least.
Right. So we're not running Q1 until June.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of we're just flip flopped.
Good old Hood Riker.
Yeah.
What about you, Tucker? What's up with you, what's up with you this last week or two?
Escape pods, which we were planning on talking about at some point.
Oh yes, we did get the rules for escape pod. I did have a picture that I did myself, which strangely is not actually on my computer. But the escape pod rule card happened. Basically, you take whatever got destroyed, place it in range 1 where your ship was destroyed, and have it pointing a direction, and it kind of floats helplessly in that direction. If it hits a friendly ship, it gets taken on board, and you can exceed crew restrictions. You can only have one captain. You have to pick one. But other than that, I mean, you could have multiples of them if you wanted to save a couple, like 2 to 4 crew that exceed restrictions. That's what I've got. I don't know, Tucker, did you want to say more about it?
I like it. I mean, so the nice thing about it as compared to emergency transporters is you're not stuck with a shuttle, which is good. The Enterprise NX-01 is, if you can find a way to get tech slots on it for a fleet captain or something, is a great candidate for throwing escape pods on. They did rule. The other nice thing about them, by the way, is by my interpretation of the rules card, if you drop the pods directly onto another ship, they will instantly transfer.
Can you do that? Does the escape pod let you do that?
You can put it anywhere within range 1, so I can't imagine why you couldn't.
Pick up Pegasus. Escape pod. Place 1 escape pod token in the play area within range 1 of your ship, and then blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it doesn't say any restrictions on the escape pod card.
It would be on the rules card.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the rules card, Andy?
Yeah, I got the rules card up too. During the activation phase, after all ships have moved, the escape pod moves 1 in the direction of the arrow on the token. If it overlaps a friendly ship based on this move, it is considered picked up. If a friendly ship is within range 1...
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If the token overlaps a friendly ship, it's considered picked up, right?
It only says after it moves, though, so I don't know.
I would need to look at the card again, but
it also works if it's just anywhere within range 1 of a ship at the start of the activation phase.
Oh, it's at the start of the activation phase,
or at the end of the activation phase.
Well, that's different. I mean, the major difference there is meteor shower.
Mm-hmm.
So
doesn't say it's a ship though. So
it has stats.
It has stats, but it does not anywhere in this rules card say it is a ship or treated as a ship.
That's gonna need a warping.
It says it may be attacked, but that's all it says. So, in theory, like, since it never anywhere specifically says it's a ship, it should not be affected by, mines. Ever?
I don't know.
Or anything that doesn't directly target it as an attack, like with a specific weapon. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep looking. But
they cannot use their text abilities and cannot be affected by enemy upgrades. But fair enough. Not that if you're in range to get hit by an upgrade anyway, you're probably not going to be dead by fire.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a ship, Gelnon can hit it, though.
Okay, I'd say the only thing that would get you out of this is if you destroy the ship and you have a second ship already in position to shoot down the escape pod as soon as it launches. And for most part, we're not using escape pods in that fashion as combat relief. We're using them as crew transfers.
Yeah, I mean, you're never actually going to use them as they're intended to be used.
as they are intended to be used in canon, not necessarily intended to be used in a game rule set of arbitrary decrees. That is how it is intended to be used in this game. But yes, yeah.
It's worth noting that Worf ruled that if your ship is completely off the board, you don't get to escape pod.
Actually, if any part
or
of
escape
your ship
transport
is off the board.
Did they say any part?
Yep.
I just looked at this.
Any part of yours off the board, you are considered completely out of the playing area.
Yeah.
And in
Really?
between the playing area and out of the playing area, there is no range of anything.
Yeah. If a ship, this is the ruling, if a ship, quote, flees the battlefield, unquote, it must have at least part of its base outside the play area and is considered to be outside the play area even if partially on the map.
This is a mirror universe black hole that as soon as you leave, you get teleported back to the normal universe.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that it's a gamey rule, but yeah, it really needs to be a gamey rule.
It does. It does. We'll all admit that.
It's a gamey rule for a gamey game.
It also means that, although actually...
Oh, he said actually.
Does I Stab at Thee have the before removing it from the play area wording?
No.
Let me have a look. Yeah, because I Stab at... You may still be able to fly off the board and I Stab at Thee.
It says if your ship was just destroyed.
Right, because escape pod and escape transport, which was the question about, have the wording when your ship is destroyed before removing it from the play area in their wording. And it seems like the ruling was based on that play area-ness.
Okay. Yeah, so I Stab at Thee does not have that.
So it may still work. That probably is worth a follow-up question, but somebody else do it.
What I Stab at Thee does not have is what is it? Any words that say that it targets fighters. So I Stab at Thee is not that good anymore. So it's not an attack. And it doesn't say anything specifically about squadrons. So I did ask this about the rules team. I asked it last Monday. But like last Monday morning, but haven't gotten anything back from them yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just waiting on them. Hopefully we'll have some more answers before next week. Next week we will be going for our big, great, grand World's Championship smorgasbord. You know, all the fleets that we have been playing with or toying around with or just brainstorming that we think are going to be highly effective at Worlds or that you have to be prepared for Worlds.
Except, obviously, for the ones that we're going to be running, which are going to be the best ones.
Heck, I'm still trying. I came up with a fleet that I might actually be running Borg at Worlds. It's crazy.
Yeah,
let me rephrase that. Borg with Picard 6. Huh? You like that one? I like that one. I think Tucker was going to say something, but he's cutting in.
Your
now.
opponents like that one too.
No, they won't. No, they won't. I was thinking of a build where I may actually want to run something faction pure.
Gotcha.
But
if it's Fed, it has a chance. If it's Dominion, it has a chance.
It's Bajoran! No, that's a joke. Please don't run Bajoran pure at Worlds. Please don't do that.
If it wasn't for the 120 rule, no. I could see somebody doing it as a side event.
Bajoran pure. I think we should have Bajoran pure versus Kazon pure.
Kazon's all day long.
Kazon, yeah, absolutely. Kazon rating partner
they have
for
to
auto
run Laura
crit.
St. Kerr, Will. That's not even a question.
But they don't get like more than 2 defense dice, so the Bajorans can actually hurt them.
Yes,
all right.
They actually hurt them.
All right, I think that's enough for this then.
How about Tholian pure versus Bajoran pure?
Tholian pure every single time. Bajorans are just really bad.
I don't know. I think maneuverability lets them go around obstacles without taking damage. Something else to think about. They should make orange bases for Kazon. Ha! Ha! And they should make gray. They should make gray bases for Vulcans too, and I don't know how you do inverted clear for Mirror Universe, but they'll have that.
Well,
Mirror Universe is like dark red.
Yeah.
Then again, so are half the other factions in this thing.
Well, it would be nice to see like flagships for the non-core 4.
Yeah. I remember back in the day when they were released, and there were people doing customs of those. Those were fun.
Yeah, did you do any of those?
Yeah, I think I did. I did like a Bajoran and I think I did Bajoran, Borg, and Species.
Yeah, because somebody had a regenerate as a free action.
And someone said putting a Borg slot on a non-Borg ship was totally broken, and it's not like we have that in the game now.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what you're talking about, Borderlines.
And Borg Queen. Alright, guys. I think that's going to do it for today. So, of course, next week, tune in for all of the world stuff. And until then, get to testing. We need more data. We need to figure out everything that you guys are trying out for Worlds next week, and we can talk about it all on the show. Point out any obvious glaring flaws that a 5-year-old would poke in your great evil plan for world domination. I believe that's Evil Emperor Overlord rule number 5. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good time. Sorry I couldn't see you today, but we had some technical difficulties, hopefully resolved by next week. So until then, may Q be generous with your dice.
State of the Federation is a production of Will S. in association with Tucker C. and David M. We are not associated or affiliated with WizKids games, and except where specified, WizKids did not endorse or approve any of our podcasts. All copyrights are copyright of their respective rights holders.